there was almost nobody practicing this in Kenya at the time. So I had only been listening to sound healing recordings on YouTube and meditating to them. And I said, okay, when I'm there, I'm going to go for a live sound healing and see if there's something on it.
How long does a session need to be to maybe remove a disease? And what sort of diseases have you had?
So there's no timeline and there's no like guarantee that, you come into this is going to be cured. But there have been a lot of things that I have worked with, a lot of mental health issues. So anxiety, depression, insomnia, deep-seated trauma that is also manifested in the physical body and created issues that once we start healing these, the body starts functioning orderly again.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear listeners. Welcome back to Erix, another exit of Beauty Lies podcast with me, Miryaam Roöse. Today, I'm joined by yet another amazing guest, and later introduce herself. And today, we're going to talk about sound healing. Welcome.
Thank you, Miryaam. I'm really excited to be on your podcast.
You for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And so you want me to introduce myself? Yeah, I wear many hats. I can say that in summary, I love silence. Ironic as a sound healing practitioner. I love beautiful sound and I love nature. So yeah, I think in terms of my practices, my core practice is meditation as well as music, flute, vocals, singing bowls. I'm a practitioner now for around almost 8 years, I think, sound healing practitioner, as well as on other modalities. And I would say that nature and especially Mother Earth is my guide in everything that I do.
You actually call yourself a child.
Yes, that's your
real name.
The real name is Narissa. The name you get to say hunt.
Yes. No, most follow you as Narissa. I love calling you a child. Where did that come from?
Basically that I call myself Earth Child or Child of the Earth because I see myself as the child of Mother Earth, and I get everything that I need in my life from that guiding force of the earth, whether it's healing, grounding, songs that come through, direction of where to go next in life. I always find this guidance from Mother Earth, and so I call myself Child of the Earth. Yeah,
beautiful. So take us back to where it all began until now that you're a sound healer.
Wow. Okay, so I think I'll say my spiritual journey began when I was very young, and began with the practice of silence. When I was a very young child, not sure how old, I was taught meditation, and my first meditation teacher was my father, who is still my inspiration till date. Meditates every day at 4 in the morning. Yeah. And so he taught me a certain kind of meditation that is from the Sufi practices. And since then, I've studied under various different lineages, including Buddhist, various schools of Buddhist meditation. And yeah, when it comes to sound, I think I've been in musical practice also since childhood, with instruments including the voice, the flute, and the piano. And around 2018 is when I went really deep into all of this as spiritual practice. And there's a reason behind that, my own healing journey, which I'm happy to share with you as well. But yeah, 2018, that's when I got deeply into flute, into singing bowls. Now as I'm going even deeper into vocals from a more spiritual sense. And and there's other aspects, the breath work, the meditation, the yoga, all of this.
So yeah, you tell us about the healing journey, what was instrumental about healing, but still take us a bit back. So in a sense, it's by default that you went into sound healing or just the spiritual practices. How are you as a kid? I guess that's what I'm asking.
As a kid, I was actually, I think I was quite quiet.
You were born here?
Yes, I was born here in Nairobi. And yeah, as a kid, I would say I was a bit of a nerdy child. I did very well in school. I loved reading and I loved nature. Like I loved to go camping and I loved insects as well. I used to play with millipedes. So I think I've always been connected to science and nature. Um, and so maybe that's also why I got into this. And then, facts from an early age. Did you go to like high school, uni, practicing music? No, or that's in general. Yeah. So I did all of the schooling. I didn't study this in uni. I studied English, math, and development, which is not is not the area I went into. But when it comes to music, all I practice and training has been to search for teachers of the lineage that I'm studying, because I'm very much about the tradition itself and the ancient lineages. So when it comes to meditation, I try and find the best school that will teach you the original practice of that particular lineage. When it comes to foods, I'm working with, I have a teacher here in Nairobi, and he has his teacher in India who studied under a very famous master of the Bansuri. And they're all, so I just look for the people who know the lineage. When it comes to singing bowls and sound healing, I went to Nepal to get my training, and continue to study under the tutelage of my teacher there for many years. I'm still studying with him, always will be. So that's how I did, how I investigated the practices that I worked with, because I worked with traditional instruments and traditional practices. So I prefer to learn them from the places or from the teachers and lineages that they're from, as opposed to something that is maybe adapted into the West.
Yeah, makes sense. I like that. Because that gives you authenticity. Why sound?
Why sound? So the practice that and the path that I follow is called Nada Yoga, which is the yoga of sound and vibration.
Nada is sound.
Yes, exactly. And interestingly, the ultimate aim of Nada Yoga is to get from the most chaotic sound to organized sound, all the way down to very simple sound like mantra chanting, or like simple food practice, down until you get to Om and then to silence. And then from beyond silence into the nothingness or the void is where you then hear the sound of the universe, the sound of God consciousness, whatever it is you would like to call it. And this is the path of the Nada Yogi or the Nada Yogini. So we are basically in pursuit of that sound, which we call the Anahata Nada, the unstruck sound, which is the sound of the universe.
For what purpose? What should it give you in the long run? What's the goal?
So just like any other form of yoga, which is union, the union of the individual soul with cosmic consciousness, coming into realization that we are not just individuals, which we are all one vibration. And not yoga is based on the premise that everything is vibration, everything comes from sound, everything is sound. And so we go into that truth and go at it from that angle. So that's why sound. For me personally, I think one of the reasons I love being in nature is that peace and quiet and just listening to the voice of nature. When you listen carefully enough and you're so present, you can hear, however it sounds, you can hear the lake speaking to you. You can hear the voice of the mountain. You can hear and feel the trees whispering to you. And to just come into that space of peace, quiet, and listening, to me, this is the practice of Nadi Yoga. And now working with the instruments, I actually find my most peace and joy when I'm either sitting in silence meditating. I try and do this every day, or sitting and playing my flute or singing. These are the times that I'm most absorbed, present, joyful. I can be in the worst mood. If I sit down and play my flute, I'll come out the happiest person. Or whatever is going on. I sit down and do 1 hour of meditation. and clear-minded. I mean, so these are the tools that have worked for me. And everyone has their path, and for me, this is my path. Sound and silence.
Yeah. And not just remember that the two of us have recently lost someone very close to us. And did you use this during that moment?
You know what's so funny? Before we started this interview, I was literally thinking about him, and I was going to tell you, and he has been so strong in my mind actually yesterday.
Oh, me actually the reason see.
That's on the reason. Wait,
why you? Yeah.
Yeah. So even naming him, we're talking about Erix, Kivuti, who is a very dear friend to us. And yeah, so you mean like in the time when we were in that. Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure you were as well, but I did. That's how I processed it, sitting in meditation. So, when I was just in denial for a while, I'm like, no, this is not true. And then one day I'm like, no, you have to sit down and accept this. So sat down, of course, outside in nature, got into meditation, and just sort of spoke to his spirit and said all the things that I wanted to say to him. And that's when I finally managed to start processing it. So
yeah, I asked that because so many people are going through grief, and it's good that it's something that we've shared. And listening to you talking about the meditation, maybe this could be something that can help people go through. That's what I was asking. Because I did nothing. I was just talking to you all the time. But now listening to you, I'm like, maybe that would have been a good idea to just sit and be repeat. And this can also help other people that are going through grief. Because I know most people don't know how people feel grief. And I'm talking about it.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring up grief also, because you were asking earlier what my own healing journey was in 2018, 2017, and it was a journey of grief. That is how I got into sound healing in the first place. And the thing is, with a lot of us as humans and the different spaces that we're brought up in, is that we're not really given tools to deal with death, to deal with loss, to deal with old age, suffering, all of these things. And it's kind of taboo to talk about it. And when it happens, it's often very difficult to deal because no one knows how to. So people end up blocking, they're pushing it down, and then suffering inside. But there are ways and tools to work through that, and to process it in a gentle way. So one of the reasons I do love sound healing is that there are so many modalities, and different ones work in different ways for different people, and you can also use combinations of different techniques. For me, the beauty of sound healing, and the reason I love it, is that it takes you, and I can explain how that happens, like how it works scientifically, but it takes you into that space where your body and your subconscious is able to process the things that are stuck and the things that you've not been able to release. Maybe you kept stuck, kept pushed down, and you gently let into that space, and it naturally starts to process. And the beauty of sound healing is that it's gentle, it's so loving, and it's not a harsh modality, and it's done in a way that is not working with a conscious mind. It's working with a subconscious mind. You're going into deep meditative and healing states, which is where this deep physical and emotional healing can take place. And this is why I love sound healing.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually could do that. Tell us about the scientific.
Okay. And then I'll also tell you about the journey in 2017. Okay, let's start with that one. So the whole reason that I am in any of this practice, I was very much before 2017, I could say I was quite an angry. Well, those people would not. Okay, by my standards, I was relatively angry. I was an angry activist, basically, and I still am very passionate about social justice and environmental justice, but coming at it from a different angle now. But back then, it was very much sort of running against the system and taking 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, being frustrated, being so sad at what's going on and not being able to deal with it. And also putting myself in danger a little bit. And then what happened in 2017 is everyone has this trauma or that trauma. What happened, what my particular turning point was actually the loss of my best friend. So in November 2017, my childhood best friend, who's the closest person to me in the world, died of cancer at a very young age. And my world was shattered. I mean, I think about it all the times when I see how many years, I still, I still feel her, her loss and miss her till now. And when she went, it just didn't make any sense. I had to go on a journey. So I had a meditation fellowship to Thailand. I went, and then I could hear her voice saying, "You have the money to go backpacking for a couple of months more over here, and I think that's what you should do." I could feel her telling me this because I'd cut my backpacking trip short to go and visit her the previous year when she was, on her last legs in India. So I did that, and I was like, okay, I'll do 3 months. I ended up staying 5 months in Southeast Asia. I was in Thailand, India, and Nepal. And the whole time I was just searching for answers, soul searching, like, why did she go at such a young age? Where is she? What's going? What is this thing called death? And you're just feeling so lost. I did disassociated from my body. I was not in it. I was watching myself, all of those things that happened. And during this process is where I ended up in an ashram in India doing the yoga teacher training. It's where I learned breathwork and pranayama, that is one of my favorite modalities to practice and share. You heard me doing some funny breathing before we started this interview. What is it called? That was a couple of months I was doing. And meditation, I had gone for actually a meditation fellowship there. And it's where I experienced my first live sound healing. There was almost nobody practicing this in Kenya at the time. So I had only been listening to sound healing recordings on YouTube and meditating to that. And I said, okay, when I'm there, I'm going to go for a live sound healing and see if it's something I want to get into. So I went for my first ever live sound healing. There were several facilitators, and we were in this crowded hut in Thailand. And I went into this very deep meditative state, and basically a trance with visuals, and was told and remembered that this is what I must do. And the amazing thing is, before that, I used to change my work all the time. Every year. Did I even last more than a year? I don't know. But once I got into sound healing, it's been almost 8 years, and I have still in this, and now it's just growing in, it's going in new and beautiful directions, but it's all in the direction of sound healing. So yeah, and my whole life took a direct change. So I moved from being quite angry and frustrated and unable to process my, sadness of what was going on in the world, to a space where instead of reacting, moving to a place of creating. Instead of moving from anger, moving from love and peace. And so there are ways in which we can shift the entire paradigm in a way that does not kill us in the process of, mental health, burnout, all of these things. And I attribute so many of these lessons to my friend, and I feel like she's always guiding me. Her name is Janine Juma. I like to name her. And she's always guiding me on this path. So it definitely got me through grieving the process, and that's why I got into it. So powerful.
That's very powerful. To build what's real. And what is the scientific process of sound healing? Because I want to get into, do you think that is what's healing it right now? See, initially, right in the mix of all these agitation forms, like low vibrational things going on. So the question would have been, is sound healing something that would help Kenya right now? But what's the scientific of it? So that you see that it's had help everyone in general.
Yeah, I mean, it has so much potential. Like when you show about vibration, it's on so many levels. So there is vibration of our physical body and the level of health we have in our bodies. There's vibrations in the thoughts that we have, that we're sending out. Every emotion is a vibration in us. Energetically, what we're calling out to the universe are all vibrations. So when you say that, can we as a collective raise our vibration and shift things? Yes, we can. We really can. And this can be done through sound healing, through meditation. It takes intention, and it also takes community, which, speaking of which, is one of the reasons we have the Conscious Kenya community, which is all about raising the collective vibration. So, I mean, when it comes to, what's going on and a lot of the things people have gone through, it can really help in terms of people who've gone through trauma, people who have, lost close friends, family, who are frustrated with what's going on, to deal with that and to be able to take action forward with a clear mind, a clear heart, and wisdom. And also, when one is going to take an action, to be able to take that action with that core of peace and love within, even as you're doing the action. And that means that at the end of the day, you don't go home as broken as you might, if you know what I mean. So there's a way in which there's so many ways and applications that shifting our vibration can work. And I always talk about both sound and silence, because to me those are very, very powerful modalities. So how does it work scientifically? Okay, so I'll give you like maybe an overview, because if I go in too deep, then we'll be here for a couple of hours. So just general. And this is what I teach also in my courses. But I started teaching sound healing like almost okay. We can talk about also sound healing Africa, which is one of the projects of sound healing Africa. Sharing and teaching about this, and we could talk about Conscious Kenya, raising the vibration. There's also another program called Journey with Nari, which is also about raising our personal and collective vibration. So there's all these cool things going on, but specifically the science of how it works. So there's a few levels, and sound healing works on different levels. So one concept, a very, very simple concept, is that sound comes in waves. And when sound waves hit the body, they shake up the cells of the body. And cells that are stuck, blocked, out of resonance, diseased, they also get shaken up and back into harmony. We also call it like a cellular massage when you're having the sound healing. So this is whether the sound healing and the singing bowls are placed on the body, or you're even got the bowls near you, next to you, you got a bong, and the vibrations come through the air and into your body. So there's different ways in which you experience it, but it literally shakes up all the cells in your body, and you get this cellular massage. Wow. Deep into your body. So, when you're getting a physical massage, you're manipulating from here. And when you get the sound, it's going in, and it's more subtle. Like you have to be really aware. Quite often people feel things releasing out, or muscles that have been cramped, relaxing, nerve pain, also getting healed, all these things. Wow. It's very, very powerful. So this is one way in which it works. We have also the concept of resonance. And so when you have different frequencies that we produce as sound healers using the different instruments, when those frequencies are produced and there are certain organs in the body or certain cells that have their resonant frequency at the same frequency as what you're producing, those will start to resonate. And that's also what makes them vibrate and start coming back into harmony, or shaking up blockages. And then another very important way your sound healing works is brainwave entrainment. So we produce or can produce something called binaural beats, which then entrains the brain into states of meditation. So the brain can now get into alpha state, or even deeper into theta state, which is usually the stage people are at in a sound healing session. When you're in theta state, you move from fight or flight into rest and digest. And also this is helped by also the stimulation on the vagus nerve. So you get into a very relaxed state and you're somewhere in between awake and sleep. And at this point, the body is able to start healing things. Your emotions that have been stuck inside you are able to be processed. Physical disease that has been stuck, the body starts working on this. So many things happen. Sometimes also people get guidance, see visions, others go into complete stage of nothingness, almost even fall asleep if that's what they need. So the power of the instruments, whether it's singing bowls, gong, etc., gets the brain to just get into these deep states of relaxation. And a lot of people who actually say I can't meditate and like comfort sound healing session, we will get you to meditate. We will experience what it's like to be in meditation. And then you can go and practice it on your own. And we can give you those techniques as well. Yeah.
Does the sound have to be, can I use it through YouTube, or it has to be physical, actually physically present with you?
So both can work, because the beauty of maybe some of the YouTube recordings is that, especially when you listen with headsets and it's made in an intentional way to produce binaural beats, you can really get very powerful brainwave entrainment over that. The only thing that the thing that you don't get in a recording is the energy of the practitioner as much, and the ability of the practitioner to tune into your energy space and what you need, to create a personal request for them to work on specific things. And then also the physical vibration. So when you're physically in that sound healing and I strike the singing bowl, I strike the gong, the waves are literally coming through there and going through your body. Literally washing through you. That's why we call it a sound bath. And also in a personal session, quite often we place the bowls on the body physically and they go in from there. So that is what you can't get from a recording, but things that you can get from recordings are some of the lower tones of the bowls that often can't be heard in a group sound healing sound bath or sound meditation session.
All of it. So how long does a session need to be to maybe remove a disease? And what sort of diseases have you encountered?
So I wouldn't say that we necessarily, cover the disease as like a cure disease. So it doesn't really, it's not like, cut and stone like that, or, the way that medical field works. So there's no timeline and there's no like guarantee that, you come into this is going to be cured. But there have been a lot of things that I have worked with, a lot of mental health issues. So, anxiety, depression, insomnia, deep-seated trauma that is also manifested in the physical body and created issues that once we start healing these, the body starts functioning normally again. Physical ailments, I mentioned the muscles, the nerves, also things to do with menstruation, the period. Menstruation coming back after many years because it wasn't happening due to trauma, things like this. But now it also depends on the individual and what we're working through. So there's no fixed duration. There's someone that we did one session and he got off the pills that he was taking for his bipolar. But then there's others that I've worked with who are, maybe 9-10 sessions. And then that's when they're like, okay, now I feel ready to go for it on my own. So it's different.
And I get that. I guess this is also the same response, but do I need to keep coming back for the effects to be lasting, or for let's see this anxiety, for example. Do I get rid of anxiety completely? Maybe at the same session, I will have a better handle of my anxiety, or how does that work? So you have to keep coming back.
Yeah, this is actually why I love to share both the sound and the silence. So the tool of meditation is something that I love to share with people and or send them to a retreat to learn that, so that they're empowered and they don't have to always show up for sound healing. Again, it's up to the person, and you can always come for your monthly sound healing sort of tune up in reharmonization, the way you go for a monkey massage or whatever it is, you can do that and it's what you want. You can, maybe come in for a session whenever you feel like you got out of balance. But I also like to share with people tools, whether it's breath work, whether it's physical yoga asana practice, whether it's chanting, and especially silent meditation as tools that empower the individual, that even after we've done our sessions, if we decided to do, a group of 5 or 10 intense sessions together, you can go forward on your own and you'll need me. I don't want to keep you stuck independent on me. Yeah, and I wouldn't want to share that either, because it's very important for everyone to have that empowerment. And when you get into deep states of meditation, you can do all the manipulation on your body that you need to do to heal. And then, of course, sometimes you might need to go and see someone. We all sometimes feel a bit lost and need to go to someone and get a little bit of outside help. Yeah. So that's what I say.
Is this that you're doing something on back to the Kenya question? Is there a way you can play an instrument and send a vibration out to masses? Or does it always just have to be the 5 people in a room that will receive the vibration?
So it's intention as well. The literal physical vibrations of, the singing bowls, the flute, the voice, the drum, the gong, will be as far as the reach of those families can go, which might just be the room or the space you're at physically. But when you put in that intention that we are doing this meditation or this session for the collective, and as a group, we put that intention into the session, of course, the vibrations will reach as far as it is that we want them to reach. And in one of my core meditation practices is the Vipassana meditation tradition. And one of the core practices in this tradition is the Metta Bhavana meditation, which is a loving kindness. You're probably familiar with it. Yeah. And the power of this. So some people say, like, okay, these monks who are sitting in the Himalayas, meditating and reaching high states, like they're not even helping the world. Oh my goodness, the way they are helping the world. When you get into that state, and I've actually encountered this in a deep meditation once in a mountain where I don't know how, but the mountain connected me into the network of monks and nuns that were meditating at that moment. And I could feel that network and the power of their metta, that loving kindness vibration that was permeating the world. It is healing on such a deep, deep level and reaching as far as it can reach. So, whether it's a sound healing space, whether it's a mantra space, because mantra is also part of Nada Yoga and sound healing, whether it's a meditative space where the group is setting that intention, it does reach. Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, I can only assume that what you're witnessing now could have been worse if the meta wasn't reaching.
Probably.
Yeah, it's easy to call it as you. After the
I think we all need. I think that's the role we all play. I feel like every single individual has that responsibility, first to ourselves to raise our own vibration, and then to the collective to raise that vibration together. Yeah.
How can this help people in the conventional world? I always ask this to my guests. There is this invisible divide between spiritual people and conventional people, like white collar people who are just in the office, and you be rather silly and you're just meditating for 1 hour. How do you train one actually takes? You get what I mean? So how do you match the two? How can someone match what you're doing with their strike, for example?
So in some ways, I think it's also about sort of snapping out of the matrix in a way. Because we are taught by the system that governs this world that we have to slave away from 9 to 5 every single day and then just come home exhausted, do what we have to do, cook, feed the kids, go to bed, get up the next day, work like this. And then even Saturday in Kenya, we work half day on Saturday and then you have, maybe half a day to relax, Sunday go to church, and then, oh, it's Monday again. And you're in this cycle. And that's why we're stuck in it. But honestly, as a collective and as a society, we don't need to be slaving away like this. Like, for society to function and to develop and to move forward, we don't need to be working this hard. Like, if you look at the basic requirements for society, we have to have food, we have to have water, we need healthcare, we have all these things we need. And if I'm not mistaken, there are a couple of countries, I think in Europe, where they have shorter working weeks, and I can't remember which ones. We don't need to be working this hard. And even with all the technology we have, we can provide for ourselves. So that's on one hand. I think it's something that has been actually brainwashed into us, that we have to work that hard and that it's lazy watching. And I've been at that because I'm a bit of a workaholic. But I'm a very good workaholic. And I'm still unlearning that so that I can spend more time doing the practices that give me peace, give me joy, make me a better contribution to society. If I am happier and more peaceful, how does it affect the people around me? If I'm miserable and angry, how does that affect the people around me? And by extension, then the vibrations we picked up from me, that they then send to the next people. So that's one sort of deeper level answer to your question. And then if someone is and has to be in a 9-to-5 job, it is a choice. It is a choice. Let's say you have a 9-to-5 job, you have kids. It might mean that you sleep a little bit less, but if you can just get up those 10, 20 minutes earlier and take your time to just center yourself and get into whether your practice is movement or sitting in stillness, and just hold that peace at the beginning of the day and get into that space, your whole day goes. And so I think it's the responsibility is on the individual. And once you start shifting that vibration, sometimes you might say, oh man, like, I'm stuck in this life, and this is just how it's going to be. Just taking that shift and every morning tuning into yourself and taking that time for yourself and telling, sending that message out that I deserve this. And this is the vibration that I want to start creating my life. Things will start shifting in miraculous ways in your life that will just change. And you don't always have to know consciously how it's going to change. It's possible to live in this world not in a typical way. I have not been employed since December 2016. I've not been in a job since then. And how have I survived? And I travel the world. How? There are ways. I have some friends recently who just got a baby, and they're moving around with the baby, going to medicine spaces and alternative medicine partners, like music medicine, all of this, and learning and taking the baby through. I'm not saying it's for everyone. Some people need stability, but there are always ways to find, remember, and live in your truth and your dream. Like, if I'd say anything to us, I'm like, if you have a dream that you're like, oh man, I could have done this, I don't lose that dream. Like, there is a way that you can live your life doing what you love and, living comfortably. And that's kind of the vision that we're all on. Yeah.
I mean, this is a simple time. It's not they have dream for most people.
Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy.
I mean, there's no easy, just because struggle.
Exactly. It's true.
Is there anything else about sound healing that you'd like to tell us? She probably haven't.
Yeah, so sound healing has currently, it's so interesting. When I started practicing sound healing and I came from Nepal back home to Kenya and started sharing it, there was almost nobody that was on the scene doing sound healing. So when I came, people were asking, oh, do you know that there's this German lady who was doing it, but she's moved. Now you're the only one doing it. So they have to share with people, what is this and all of this. And now it's become quite a buzzword. It's like exploding. Everyone never knows sound healing when you talk about now 2025. These singing bowls are everywhere. Crystal bowls, Himalayan singing bowls, gongs, all of these things. And the thing that people don't know is that there is also more aspects to sound healing and more cultures to sound healing. So those instruments are there and they're more well known. And also the practice, there's a lot of myths about sound healing and frequencies and the origins of it. And this is also why I've been really focusing on doing trainings in sound healing to really share the truth about it and separate, some of the nonsense on the internet to what's actually true. But sound healing is actually something that has been present in cultures across the world in different forms. And I think that's something that I would really like to share. For example, drum circles. Across the African continent, drum circles are sound healing, are meditation, are trance, are communication with the ancestors, are one of the most deep modalities of this continent. That is maybe not given the label of sound healing, but it is sound healing. It is meditation. Think about instruments from different parts of the world. The didgeridoo, the flute, which I brought here with me. This flute. Should you play for us? I will. So, all of these different instruments, and also the voice, for example, in cultures across the world, different cultures, different religions, different countries, people use their voice to connect, to heal. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. Sound healing is not limited to a particular tradition or a particular country. And that's actually part of the reason that I'm part of the Sound Healing Africa collective and community, where we are coming together to share and teach different modalities that are available on the African continent. So it's still in its infancy at this moment, but this is what we want to teach, and sharing, knowledge about the different drums across Kenya. For starters, there's a great facilitator that should be up on the website soon. That's going to be sharing that. Kalimba, Yatiti, vocals, mantras that come from Egypt. All of this. So we want to share this knowledge. And as well, for me, my personal contribution to sound healing is, of course, the singing bowls, flute, and how I can share through my own knowledge and related studies. Yeah, that's so easy you share that, because I was just about to ask you about drums and the African spirituality part of it, how it weighs into this. And I hope that she shared that. Yeah,
That's something I should say.
no, but maybe something that I was thinking about from earlier that you mentioned was about raising the collective vibration. So I don't know if I should mention a bit about Conscious Kenya, and yeah, but I was gonna ask you now about the that you wrote down.
Yeah.
So, okay, awesome. So the other things that I also usually set for us at the places that you have spearheaded, the things that you've done, where we can find you, and all the things that you have been a part of. You have been a part of the illuminating the view that are active and what they do for the collective. Okay, so I'll just name the ones that are currently active right now, because I've been in a lot of initiatives that are really environment focused, culture focused, social justice focused. One thing that's going on right now is I think I can share with you about, on a personal level, Journey with Nari, on a greater sound healing level, Sound Healing Africa, and then on the greater conscious community level, Conscious Kenya, which is actually rebranding now as Conscious Africa. Yeah, oh my god, I've spilled the beans. It's all good on camera. But yes, that's happening. So, I love that. Yeah, exciting. Much needed. So, let me start on the individual. So, Journey with Nari is my own personal brand as a conscious musician, sound healing practitioner, and in this space, what I'm sharing are, yeah, music recordings, performances, meditation recordings, meditation courses, retreats, and that focus on, things like meditation, sound, breath, even ceremony, the pot ceremony, all this. And the most recent and exciting project that I'm launching now with Journey with Nari is a 9-month program where every month there's an event, a 6-hour event where I work with other sound healers, musicians, and practitioners to really take our individual and collective vibration for the group that comes in and go through that cycle of release, introspection, and creation of new realities. So there's a lot to it, which I can share separately, but that's a really beautiful and exciting journey that I'm on right now, and I'm so excited to go walk with people on this journey for 9 months, and also to work with amazing other musicians and sound healers. With we'll have a session focused on drums, 2 sessions focused on drums. We'll have fire ceremonies, water ceremonies, earth ceremonies. We'll have big gong bars, or sound healing concerts, food concerts, all kind of beautiful things. Yeah. So so that's Journey with Nari. And then we have Sound Healing Africa, which I think I've shared a little bit about. I think I don't need to go into more detail on that. Finally, we have Conscious Kenya, which we said is rebranding as Conscious Africa. So this is basically conscious community and a hub for holistic wellness, healing, alternative modalities. So this is a space in which we are welcoming different practitioners that share all of these alternative and holistic modalities, and share about them, connect them with the people who are looking for them in Kenya. And now we're going to focus across the continent of Africa and try to connect with intentional community and healers across the continent. And then we have, in-person meets where we get to meet with each other, online meets, just different ways of connecting and sharing and raising the collective vibration together in a safe, loving, nurturing space. Yeah. So that's Conscious Kenya in a nutshell.
It's about time that happened. So I feel like it's very timely that you're granting. And I'm also doing this because this is actually kind of most of the people who being on this podcast have from that our community. Yeah, because I know that it was about time that this information gets mainstream. Because this us who know what is constructed. I love this and I'm over Erix. So I need this information. Africa needs to rise. It's about time that the consciousness is raised in where we take personal responsibility. But absolutely. And to go pamoja, like that's the whole point of this being a connected. Exactly. It's like every single person has their part that they're contributing. Like you with this podcast, that is one of your contributions, to the space and to the collective rising. Yeah. So sure. This is me. So there's another question that keeps coming and leaving my mind. Yes. A sound can be used for helping and healing and relaxing and removing anxiety. Can sound be used to distract? Absolutely. Oh my goodness. So especially living in the city, there's so much destructive sound and vibration here. So especially the people who are living next to construction sites, and those are very destructive sounds. And when those sounds are going into our heads and in our bodies, they are not helpful. They are harmful. And the amount of like electromagnetic waves, EMF, around the city, all the Wi-Fi and all of this. I don't know about you, but I have to turn off my Wi-Fi at night in order to have a good night's sleep.
it all affects us. And this is why it's, especially if we live in the city, I would recommend regular sound healing sessions because it does help to shift you back into harmony, but also crucial to go into nature, into silence, where, you heard of the Japanese concept of forest bathing. And in this practice, you go into the forest and you're meditating and listening to the forest. It's as simple as that. And here, we have the ocean. We're blessed to have the Indian Ocean in Kenya. It's so easy to get there. Like, just get on the SGR and you're at the ocean. It's not even expensive to get on SGR. You need to come away from the destructive frequencies and vibrations in the city, both the ones that are more obvious, like the hooting, the honking, but then also things like the stress levels, the fast pace. To go somewhere where we can just listen to quiet, listen to peace, listen to those harmonizing sounds, listen to the birds, listen to the crickets, quietness. And this is what then can help us to recalibrate our systems. Yeah. And if you can't leave the city, going for some, and sure.
Would listening to music harm you? How do you know? Is some music harmful, and how do you, is it like, when I listen to some music, I can try to feel my body shifting, my head starts aching, and I can tell this music is up, the frequency is not resonating in my body, but I know that I'm supposed to have more grounded.
Yeah.
Before it gets never used to affect me. So that means it can happen to people's subconsciously. Most people don't know that some sounds are affecting them. So yeah, it's some sound. Okay, you mentioned honking, the fast pace, you were all about music.
We are. And so even like what we've ended up sharing, I think we probably channeled as well messages that have needed to be shared. I mean, we just has a casualty
for sure.
Yeah.
There's no way you mentioned him.
Yeah, and he's been so present the last few days. It's crazy. Like we'll talk about it more.
So yeah, I like that. The NAM makes me feel better because it's true. The vanillas have slowed down my brain so that I can be more in my body in my intuition. That makes sense.
Yeah. And also, like, even if you didn't take painkillers, like on day 2, we're usually very slow.
Yeah. But I really like the way you reframed this. It's true. Because I'm more feeling what you're saying than hearing. I'm more with you. Yeah. It's true. Okay, cool. So I was asking about music. If sound healing can be helpful, can it also be destructive? And you explained a bit about the honking and the noise and the construction. I live in a construction site, literally. I'm sad. I didn't even know it affected me. So that's what I mean. People don't know. We go about life without actually having this knowledge. But can music specifically affect us? And how do we learn it?
Yeah, so I think at the end of the day, with all of this, it is what we need to do in order to know is to come into that awareness. If we can constantly at every moment be aware of what's going on in our body right now. So just even right now, feeling into your body, feeling into my body, whoever's watching this, when you feel into your body, what is going on? How is your body reacting to the information being shared that we're sharing? How is your body reacting to the atmosphere around you, to the sounds that you might be able to hear around you? Whoever's listening to this, if you're maybe, listening to some city sounds or you're listening to some nature sounds around you, how's your body responding to that? And that is how we can know. So when it comes to music as well, quite often, especially living in the city, we get into this rhythm. This is how it is. Work Monday to Friday, go out for party on Friday night, on Saturday do this, Sunday go to church, or whatever it is. And this is the rhythm that everyone's in, but we never question it. And because everyone else is going to whatever space it is, we just assume this is what we're meant to do. Because everyone is eating what they're eating or drinking what they're drinking, we just assume that's how it is. But if we just come into awareness with everything that we consume, this sound, that sound, this messaging, this music, this food, this drink, and when we take it in, feeling into the body, how does my body, my mind, my spirit feel with this? Then we know. So there have been some experiments where there's a plant and the plant is played a very intense and noisy, chaotic music, and the plant dies. And then there's another plant that is played beautiful, whether it's classical music or something very melodious, and the plant thrives. So literally, the plant shows what is also happening in us. And you can often know when you enter a space with a certain kind of music and you leave, you notice how you feel different, or you listen to a certain piece. Similarly, with the vibration of a space, whether you enter a place and you can feel the vibration or the energy of that place. You meet a person, you can feel their vibration. You might be just repelled by a person, or you feel attracted to a person. It's the vibration. So, yeah. And then also when it comes to music and healing, we have sound healing and also music healing, which everyone doesn't. Most people do it intuitively. You're going through an emotion, you're going to turn on that song. Like you're going through a heartbreak, you're going to turn on a song about heartbreak. You're getting a crush on someone, you're going to turn on a song about that. You're feeling good, you're going to put on that song. And this is how we actually like to listen to sounds that are resonating with what's inside us right now. So music is also healing because it helps us to move through those processes that are going on within us. Yeah.
Oh, we do these things subconsciously. But that's so true. That makes so much sense. Cool. So unless you have anything else you want to say about Sanjay, I really want you to play for us the flute.
We can do that. We can play a little bit of sweet. Okay. So I guess I can just invite anyone who is listening to this podcast to just close your eyes, sit up straight, move your shoulders back, and just tune into your body. Notice how you're feeling. Notice how you're breathing. And allow the sounds to just take you wherever they're going to take you. Just relax and listen to the sounds of the Bansuri. That movement.
You can tell the energy shifted in the room.
Yeah?
Oh, nice. Yeah, just a little 1 minute. I think I went to that guitar or that stage and we should have done this before. I feel so calm.
Yeah, I could have played that for an hour, but I know that would be like another hour on the podcast.
I just literally think I really need to talk about this song. Because something, music does something to me. Like the piano, when I play the piano, with the electric one, the other one, I literally go at transit. That's the same feeling I have right now. I just felt, I don't even know how to explain. It just feels wanting.
Yeah, actually, I feel that as well. Now that we played, I feel like we're also on the same the same frequency in this moment.
Yeah, something's shifted or calibrated. Is it blast question? Is it religious? Because as you were playing as a CA, some you mentioned Buddhism and India and Nepal and all those places. Is it open to anybody? Is it neutral? Anybody can just come because you have a body itself that needs should be calibrated.
Yeah, so at least the way in which I practice sound healing and the way in which I've been taught is completely open to anyone. It's not associated with a particular religion. We're working with vibration, and everything is vibration. So the way in which we work is anyone can come, and it's funny because when people come and then we see it through their lens and they experience the sound healing and the meditation through their lens. So I've had people come to me for a session who are very connected to their ancestral lineage. And these people tell me, oh, I communicated with my ancestors during the session. Then I have other people who are maybe more connected to Hindu lineage. And like you said earlier today, talk about Krishna. They're like, oh, I saw Krishna when you were playing. Yeah. You know? So everyone kind of comes with their lens. And, you know, even if someone is atheist, they can still ask it because we're working on the scientific level with literal vibration. And on the other hand, you can also do something called a shamanic sound journey, where we go on deep soul journeys. So there's different ways to use the sound to work with it on different levels. But in general, working with sound, working with vibration, does not have to be associated with a particular religion. And it can be, and there are beautiful ways in which the different religions use sound and music. I've been in churches where you have the 4-part choir and the grand organ, and it sounds so beautiful. You can cry. I've cried being in such a choir. And I'm not from a Christian background, you know. I've been in spaces where you have the Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, you know, drummers singing and chanting on the streets. I've been in spaces where you're in a temple where they're chanting these Buddhist mantras or chanting Om, which is actually a universal vibration. It's not associated with any religion. And you can connect to all of these. So it is definitely present in different religions. But the way in which I work with it is accessible to all. That's beautiful. Another effect I'm felt right now is my brain. My brain is in my head, right? Yeah. So at the bottom of my head, inside my brain, I started feeling like going off. I don't know. And that made me think of asking, is this something that can help children? Is this music help children in their studies? Yeah, I mean, you know, with practices like sound, and meditation, it definitely helps you to focus and, you know, mind, whether you're a child or an adult, but with kids also very easily distracted, and to sort of bring yourself into that state of presence, focus, and concentration. I think that so this is for parents that they should bring their kids, because also the brains of kids are still developing. So I think for parents, this is something that I would highly recommend. Of course, you can second me on that image. What? To bring your kids in spaces like this with good music and good sound, so that the development of their brain can be healthier. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's really interesting when kids are exposed to certain kinds and genres of music when they're young. They can often remember it when they're older, connect to it when they're older, and sometimes even go down musical paths when they're older. So yeah, to be intentional with what sounds and frequencies you're feeding your child, definitely, because those affect you on such a level that you don't always consciously know, for sure. And it's better to just tap into them when they're young. That's all. So I guess, is there anything else you'd love to add? Yeah, I just thank you for a really nourishing conversation that got me to also intuit and share things that I did not think I was going to share. So thank you. Thank you for sharing it and trusting me enough in my audience. And thank you for playing these blues. I wish it would have gone on for long. I feel so relaxed. I even feel it in my shoulders. Seriously, it's that. Oh, wow. Or maybe, as you said, on a future one, we could do a longer sound healing session. Yeah. Bring in some instruments and enjoy he. We all. So until next time, thank you so much for listening or watching, and we hope to see her again in another episode. But until then, have a good time. Goodbye. Bye. Right.